Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? Happy Tuesday. We're moving on down the week. Every day is another step farther. Anyway, I'm gonna stop messing with you guys about the days, but sometimes I have to motivate myself. Anyhow, so I pray you're having a fantabulous day, and I'm gotta hit this and do it really quick because I got back-to-back meetings lined up. But anyway, my nugget today is, how is your submission acumen going? I'm like, do you submit well? Do you make wise decisions in your submission? That's why I use the word acumen, because you have to make wise choices in who you're submitting to and what you're submitting to. Submission is not always the best course of action unless it's to God. Then it is always, bar none, the best course of action. Always, always, always. I remember I didn't get saved. I mean, I didn't get married until I got saved. And my thought pattern was, all I kept hearing about is, wives submit to your husbands, wives submit to your husbands. And I straight out was like, submit to a man? I don't think so. That was like straight out. I'm not doing that. So I had to get saved. I had to learn about submission and how it worked properly within marriage. It wasn't just that my husband was to rule over me and I had to do everything he said, because anybody that knows me, that was not going to work. Okay. It was like, no way that was going to work. But at this place in time in my life, I now have a better understanding about how it works. And so now that I understand better, I handle it better. So I'm curious. It's even like on your job when you have managers and COOs and CEOs and CFOs and all of those C people, those C suite people that you have to submit to. How do you do it? How does it work for you? Because sometimes we can have such a rebellious nature and a rebellious streak within us that we just refuse. In fact, we are going to fight whatever is being presented just because. It doesn't matter that it could be a good idea, it doesn't matter that it could make sense, but there are some that no matter what, you're just going to fight it just because it wasn't your idea. We got to get better at that, people. We got to get better at that. We have to make wise decisions in our submission. So even in marriage, I found out that. Okay, let me say this. I went to a conference shortly after I got married, and there was this woman of great wisdom, older woman, been married 40 some years, who was speaking in this little panel. It was like the women kind of went off to the side, and she was just kind of giving us some words of wisdom. And of course, I hadn't been married long. In fact, I think I was in the midst of getting my divorce. I was in the midst of getting my divorce now that I think about it. But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, and it wasn't because of lack of my submission. So let me just put that out there, okay? But I remember asking her about how this headship and leadership and this thing worked in the home, because women are very, very valuable, and we need to be valued and we need to be heard. Um, and so, but not in a overpowering way. Okay, that much I got, But I was having a hard time just equating. Even, I was good with submitting to God, but I was still having trouble with that man thing. Anyway, she said this to me, and it made all the sense in the world. She said, "A two-headed anything is a freak," and I was like, okay. She said there can only be one head. It never said that you couldn't lead, but there can only be one head. And that head is there to protect and to cover and to make sure that you have what you need to be all that you can be. And I was just like, Mm. Put it in a whole new light for me. Put it in a whole new light for me. Even on the job, there are times when I don't agree. And just my nature, I'll let you know. But there are other times when I may not agree. And it's just like, mum's the word, not my company. Do you? And that's really my thought pattern. It's like I'm not going to just fight or buck up against it because somebody is usurping their authority because they have been given that authority. So you have to get to that place, like I said, that you reverence authority, that you reverence, authority in your life. And at the same time, you do not become a doormat. You do not become somebody's punching board in your home, or just that place where people come and dump their abuse on. That's not good submission, and that's not the submission that God has ever called you to be. If I'm talking to someone right now that's in that type of relationship, be it on the job, because I've worked for narcissistic bosses too, um, or in your home, that's not where God would keep you and have you just to be abused, because He didn't create you for abuse. Now, that I got that out there. But we have to learn how to submit gracefully to authority if we ever want to be in authority. Because remember, you get back what you put out. So if you can't be under authority, then you won't be able to be trusted in authority, because you will abuse it and you will not properly steward those that God has given you that honor to steward, not to command, but to steward, to help them become the best that they can be. And that's what you want to do. All right. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you're learning how to be in authority when you need to be in authority, how to be in submission when it's time to submit. Okay. All right. That's it. I told you I've been on here 7 minutes. I didn't mean to be this long. But anyway, think about it. Think about it. Food for thought. All right. All right. I love you with the love of Christ. You already know you can't do a thing about it. And I'm praying that you have an absolutely positively fantabulous day. God bless.